Tuesday night.
Most of you guys are familiar with my dad. I actually have a story to share with you, and he is in it. So, yeah. My dad took me and two of my friends to northern Arizona one time. And we were just hanging out for the day, having fun, bonding. It was a good day. We'd been there for hours, and we're on our way home, and we're getting on the highway. We see this hitchhiker with a broken bike on the side of the road. And we pass him, and I'm like, that's fine. And then my dad starts to slow down. And I'm like, no, nope, like, stop it, don't you do it. And he did it. So he stops the car, actually it's a truck, and this guy comes up, a complete stranger, and puts his broken bike in the back of the truck. And he gets in the front seat. So me and my three friends are in the back, and this guy's like, my name's Jeffrey. And I was like, nice to meet you, Jeffrey. And he starts telling us about his life, he starts telling us about his situations, and he tells us about how one time he rode his bike to Florida to find his family. Yeah. And then he starts showing us pictures of his family, and we're like, oh, that's really cool, Jeffrey. And he talks about his house and how he lives on the reservation, and he asks us a couple of times if we want to see his house, and we were like, no. And then out of nowhere, he got really excited, and he goes, you want to hear a joke? And we were like, okay, yeah, we'll hear a joke. So he goes, why were the Indians the first ones in America? No, wait, I said that wrong. And he got like really upset with himself. So he goes, why were the Indians the first ones in America? And says it the same exact way. And we were like, why, Jeffrey? Please do tell. And then, this was the strangest thing. He goes, and he stays that way for like 30 seconds, and he starts shaking like this. And then after a long time, he goes, because they had a reservation. And we were like, but eventually we dropped Jeffrey off at a gas station because he kept insisting that we see his house. And we were like, no, Jeffrey, we will not come see your house. But the point is, and I do have a point, is that as weird and as slightly scary as Jeffrey was a child of God. Jeffrey had a sense of humor. Jeffrey liked to joke around. Jeffrey had a family that he loved and cared for. And Jeffrey had a home that he was proud of. Jeffrey was created by God, for God. My first point to you guys tonight is that we are all made in the image of God. This has been something that's really made an impact on me during Icon, because throughout the year there were times when I would just get really insecure about myself. I felt lonely being away from my family. There were times, like every person, that I felt ugly. There were times when I felt disliked by people. And I think part of it was because I was in a new environment. I wasn't familiar with the people around me or the customs around me, and I just honestly felt out of place a lot of times. But I started praying and seeking God when I would feel this way, and I came to realize that during these moments, God was working in me. He was taking the image of the world out of me and replacing it with His image. Instead of focusing on how I looked or how to impress people or how to make new friends, I started to seek out what it meant to be made in the image of God. I started to ask God to make me more Christ-like, to give me those characteristics. And the more I began to seek God, the more the image of the world that I held on to so dearly began to slip away. Genesis 1:27 tells us, so God created humankind in His image. In the likeness of God, He created them. Male and female, He created them. We have the Spirit of God, guys. We were created with the breath of God. Genesis 2:7 says, then the Lord dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Something that I've really had to explore this year is what it means to be made in the image of God, because sometimes it's not always an easy concept to grasp. And what I came to realize is that it doesn't mean that we're like God physically.